Hello and welcome round to my house. Now, Christmas is coming and we've got a feast of festive food lined up for you this morning. We've got a dish from a genius chef behind the best restaurant in Britain. And I'll be in the kitchen with a true legend of the London food scene. Plus, my TV dad will be serving a stunning dish of scallops and smoked haddock. And we'll be joined all morning by a Strictly Come Dancing star who's the undisputed queen of Latin dancing. So what are we doing out here? Let's crack on, let's get inside, and let's get cooking.
Morning. Are you coming in then?
Good morning, and what a show we got lined up for you today. Today is going to be a good one, it really is, because we've got the brilliant Shirley Ballas will be in the house. She's here throughout the morning, took it into loaded potato skins with deep-fried chicken and an amazing fillet steak with seafood mac and cheese. Two great dishes. The legend that is Mr. Brian Turner is back. He'll be treating us to one of his trademark dishes. And don't miss this week's little masterclass. We'll be showing you how to make the perfect glazed ham, 3 ways for glazed ham for Christmas. And that's not all, because I'm joined again in the house by 2 great friends of mine who just so happen to be 2 of the best chefs in the business. We have Richard Corrigan and Gareth Ward. Ching ching, guys. Great to see you. So, what are you going to be cooking on the show? You've got an amazing dish, Richard. What are you going to do?
I'm doing a Guinea fowl crown with a spiced sausage, some rhubarb,
wonderful,
fig, and a little bit of pepper as well.
Wonderful. You're going to do that in the wood-fired oven out
I'm
there?
going to do it, and hopefully we'll keep the fire low this year.
Exactly. Stop burning my hinge as well. And you're using the fire, but in a different way. You're using the little grill.
I'm using the little grill. I've got a machi, so like a yellowtail, sort of part of the tuna family.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 2 little servings of it. I'm going to do the belly, the fatty part, just cooked all the barbecue really quickly.
Okay.
And serve the top loin raw with some wasabi, which I just picked on the way down to see you this morning.
Now, 2 of the greatest chefs in the business. You've never met before,
No.
have you?
No. I heard all about Gareth, of course, all about.
He's a legend, he is.
Well, he's a legend, but you're building yourself into a bit of a legend, because, I mean, this year has been amazing for you, I've got to
Been great,
say.
yeah.
You've cleaned up.
Yeah, it's been good, yeah. Very happy with it.
Still #1 restaurant in the whole of the UK.
Yeah.
Katie Award for Best Chef. You just won everything. I think he deserves a round of applause as well for Mr. Gareth. Trust me, his food is amazing as well. But I thought we'd kick things off today with no pressure, because I'm going to cook for these 2, with a simple lemon posset that I'm going to serve with cookies that have come from the Isle of Man, which I'm going to introduce you to in a minute. But I love the simplicity of this dessert. I don't know about you, but I think the simplicity of a little lemon posset, really simple. So we've got some beautiful little lemons over here. I'm going to candy some rind as well, and then I'm basically lemon posset. You can do this with orange, you can do it with lime. It's entirely up to you. But really good quality lemons is what you want. And then I've got a mixture of sugar and cream. And that's the basis of this. We're going to use a little lemon balm in it as well. That goes in there. But first of all, to make the posset, you take some double cream. Now, fire up the stove over here. And it's important that you use double cream with this. Single cream, it won't work. So you use double cream, and then you use some sugar. That goes in there. And then we want a combination of zest and juice. So you're going to basically bring this to a gentle simmer. You need the juice from 3 lemons and the zest from 2. That makes sense. So a little bit of that. So take a little bit of the zest. I mean, you're the type of restaurant that you've got must have possets on your places.
I think it was the first book I ever done. I had posset in it. Possets have a fantastic history as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they go back to medieval times, you know what I mean? So it kind of gives you an idea of what people were, you know, when Henry V was thinking about his next wife, with a spoonful of posset in between, helps the medicine go down,
well,
you know?
It's all about set sort of milk puddings as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're sort of falling out of flavour.
Yeah.
Them and bread puddings, I suppose, as well. The classic dishes like apple charlotte and all that kind of thing. I love all that.
They're the best desserts, aren't they?
Well, you say.
When you get that...
But you sort of modernised that in your restaurant, don't you? I remember, talking about rhubarb, he's cooking rhubarb. You do like funky rhubarb and custard and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's just like you say, them nostalgic old flavours just done a bit differently, isn't it?
It's what people want, really, I think. So we've got some lemon over here, and what you want to do is just bring this to the boil and gently simmer this. Now, I'm going to serve this with these little cookies over here, because I can see you guys have got your tea and your coffee there. These are going to be perfect for this. So we're going to basically introduce you now to find out more about where these amazing cookies come from. We're heading north and setting sail across the Irish Sea to speak to Andrea and Chris Worsfold on the Isle of Man. Welcome to the show, guys. So tell me.
Jane.
So I've got the chefs here that are about to dive into these. First of all, before we get into that, tell me about how you guys met, really, because it wasn't through food, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was on the water down in on the Isle of Wight, sailing around the Isle of Wight, which is obviously one of our most favourite passions. That's sailing, which eventually took us to a career on the water for 20-odd years.
Because you had a career before the water. You were working in the city, weren't you?
Yeah, I worked
High-pressure job in the city.
A trading floor in the City of London, absolutely, which then took us to Bermuda. And then we had our own hotel and restaurant in Dorset.
I love this as well. What a career as well. You were working on luxury yachts as well, skipper on lots. And wasn't it right? One of you doing the cooking and one of you were skippering the yacht. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I was the chef, but also the first mate. And it's taken us around the Med, up and down the Caribbean. So, yeah, adventurous, Australia, Bahamas.
People say it's an amazing life. I've got the chefs here. We're working, God knows how many hours in the kitchen. Is it everything that he thought it would be? Or, I mean, because certain elements, the weather can turn. It must be quite pressurised, is it? And people change their mind in situations, I suppose, that you're in terms of food. People see the glam side of it, but I guess it can be quite pressurised.
Very much so. Not only for Andrea having to produce 3 meals a day and more, but also putting up with the weather, technical problems with the boat, going from A to B, trying to suss out your guest very quickly, and of course, them walking onto the boat for weeks, usually a week's stay on board, and you know very little about what they actually like and don't like.
And then you don't find out until you're in the middle of the Atlantic, one of the two, that somebody's got dietary requirements. Exactly. So anyway, you set this business up, because we're about to dive into this. This came about through COVID, didn't it, really? So tell us about why you set it all up and how you set it all up.
Okay, well, yes, we were back here in the Isle of Man. We've lived here for quite a number of years. And of course, we couldn't go anywhere, what with COVID restrictions, totally locked down. We're not people to sit on our behinds and do nothing. So we decided, right, we set up this small little business called Angelica Bell and started producing, in this case, amaretti cookies.
So the guys are about to dive into this, really. So, Andrea, what's the basis of this recipe then? Can you give a lot of it away, or what's the base of this? Because these taste amazing.
Oh my God.
Look at that straight away.
Manx free-range eggs are a key ingredient. And then I use a blend of different almonds, some from the Mediterranean and some from the Caribbean. And then lemon, which really enhances the flavour rather than a plain amaretti cookie. And we came across these in Sardinia and Sicily, and we just loved them on the boat. And during COVID, I thought, what product would travel well to the UK via post, and came up with the amaretti.
Well, you've got 2 converts over here. Before we get to it, I just want to recap here. I've got my lemon and lemon zest gone in there. I boiled up the milk and the cream, and all we do is just pour this into the little pots that you want to put it in. Allow this to set in the fridge overnight, and you've got a simple little posset. I've got some candied lemon over here. But we got nods of approval from both of our chefs.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
That.
so you said about this business, making it in your kitchen, I'm assuming, in the middle of COVID land. And then you're now, was it for locals and bits and pieces in the Isle of Man?
More for family initially, to send to family as gifts, and then we just elaborated on the packaging and the postal side of things, and then we wholesale to a number of people here in the Isle of Man, and we go to food and drink festivals, market stalls, and then online.
I think, like you say, because a lot of the times you taste these, they're very, very dry.
Yeah.
And like you say, overly sweet. But these have got... And the recipe from it, this idea came from Sardinia?
Yes, from Sardinia. We did a lot of sailing around Sardinia.
And Sicily,
That's where
and
it
it's
came
just
from,
one of our
yeah.
favourite places for sailing, and of course the food is unbelievable there. It was what can you come up with that's going to travel well and look appealing and have a multitude of uses as well.
Well, you've got nods of approval over here. Now, Andrea, I think we were separated at birth, me and you, because we both got passions in our lives. We got flying. I believe you've got your private pilot's licence as well.
Yes, I do.
And you named the company after your love of classic cars, because I know the Isle of Man has got a huge connection with the classic car business as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Angelica is a Austin Healey BN1 1954, and Bell is a MGTC 1948.
Now, there are other ingredients that you can get from as well, because I know you buy a couple of your ingredients from the restaurant, from the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
And scallops and bits and pieces.
Scallops, yeah. I mean, fantastic queenies come from the Isle of Man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, we'd get some lovely oysters not far from you as well. So, you know, it's great place, great food, great TT racing as well, you know?
Exactly. You can probably see it from where you are.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm giving a wave next time.
Exactly, where you're based. Well, I wish you all the very best with it. I'm just going to finish this off. I've taken your biscuits for a little bit of texture. We've got some of this little bit lemon balm over the top, with your nice little bit of candied. So the lemon zest I've just basically sliced up. I've cooked that to a little bit of sugar. That's gone in there. And then what you do is you take it out of the sugar, then mix it together with a little bit of sugar anyway, so it goes candied, that kind of stuff. You can warm this in the oven if you want to dry them all out to make them crisp. But there we have it. My little version of these lovely little lemon possets. Don't forget your amazing little biscuits over the top. Easy as that.
Thank you, James.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
There we go, gentlemen.
Wow.
Oh, tell me what you think. These biscuits, I think, make it as well. Not, like I say, not too sweet.
Oh. It's a great pudding.
Such a simple little dessert, isn't it?
Honestly.
Unbelievable.
Well, people got so much stress around at Christmas, something like that. So it's a really simple little dessert.
Yeah.
No curdling of eggs problem, you know, just lemon
Nice
juice.
easy.
It's mega.
Lovely,
And then biscuits are go really well with it.
Biscuits are great as well. There you go. Right, now these two will be cooking for us shortly. And Brian Turner will be dropping by the house with a recipe for scallops and haddock a little bit later. But join us again after the break when we'll be enjoying a festive recipe from the Saturday morning archives. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Now, Mr. Richard Corrigan will be cooking for us very shortly, and I'll be serving up a surf and turf for Strictly Come Dancing's Shirley Ballas in just a couple of minutes. But first, it's time for another recipe, and this week we're dipping into the archives to enjoy a spot of festive baking from the one and only Rachel Allen. Enjoy this one.
It's Christmas time, so what better than to do some lovely festive baking? And I'm going to make these really delicious pistachio and cardamom swirls. These two flavors are so good together. I'm going to make the cardamom butter, pistachio and cardamom butter first. And in here I've got some soft butter. There, that's good. If it's soft, it's just going to make it a lot easier for you. And then add in caster sugar. And you want this butter to be really good and soft, otherwise it's going to be difficult to spread out over the dough. Okay, that's good. And then some lemon zest. And you just want to grate the very outer part of the zest, not the bitter white pith. So you just get that really great citrusy zing. Okay, that's good. Then some cardamom. I've peeled open the green cardamom pods and crushed the cardamom seeds, and you have this really incredible aroma of the cardamom. And when mixed with the lemon zest and then the pistachios too, this is going to be really special. So I need a teaspoon. So put that into the butter, and I need the rest of the cardamom for the dough itself. Mix this. Cardamom and lemon go together really well. There. You could, of course, play around with other flavors in this. You could put orange zest with cinnamon in, or ginger, mixed spice, instead of the lemon and cardamom. then pistachios. Chopped pistachios. I haven't toasted these pistachios, just plain chopped. Mix this around, and now you have your cardamom pistachio butter. So that's the butter. Next thing, I'm going to make the dough. I've got regular plain flour in here, and I'm going to add in some caster sugar. There. Make it lovely and sweet. And some baking powder. Okay, mix those two together. And then I'm going to rub in a little bit of butter to give it a nice soft crumb. So, tip in the butter. And rub it in. Make sure you have an oven preheated. This is going to go into a hot oven at first. And then going to turn it down after about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and cook it for about another 25 minutes. Baking at Christmas time can be just really special, and you can experiment with different spices, lovely flavors. It can be a bit indulgent as well. There, that's good, the butter's rubbed in. Okay, and now add in the rest of the cardamom. It smells incredible. There. And then whisk an egg. There. You could use just all milk, but the egg, of course, is going to make it even a little bit richer. And some milk, fresh milk, going in. Okay, so make a well in the center. Pour in the egg and the milk. I like to mix this by hand because I find that sometimes if I use a wooden spoon, it can just get over mixed. If you put your hand in, like a claw, like that, and just go around and around, it will come together using a nice big mixing bowl like this. Keep mixing until it all comes together. And then as soon as it comes together, you stop mixing. If you over mix this, you're just going to work the gluten in the flour, and it's going to be tough and heavy. So that's it, it's come together. Take a little bit of flour, scatter it onto your worktop, and tip the dough out onto your floured work surface. Just turn it over in the flour, like that. And now I'll go and wash my hands. Okay, flour your hands, and then just roll the dough out until it's kind of a rectangle the size of an A4 sheet of paper. I don't want it to stick though, so just making sure it doesn't stick to the worktop. So you want to roll it into a nice long rectangle like this. Imagine I need to get about 12 slices. Okay, that's long enough. And then take the butter, which smells amazing, the cardamom, lemon and pistachio. So you see, if the butter's not soft enough here, it's going to be a real pain to spread it out. You can keep it in slightly from the edges here, but all the way out to these ends there. Great, okay. So I need to roll it this way. And if a little bit sticks, don't worry, just take a palette knife, slightly floured, and just scrape it like that. If you're finding it sticking a tiny bit, just take some of your flour and scrape it, that's okay. Look at that big roll. Okay, bring it towards you, just like this. Okay, that's nice and even. And then I'm going to cut this into slices, and I'm going to put it into the tin. The tin has been buttered on the base and the sides. I normally just cut it in half first, like that. And if you find it easier, just to flour the blade after you cut it, so it doesn't stick to the next slice. Okay. Actually, I'm going to sharpen knife and cut each of these into 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then what you want to do is you want to put these in cut side facing up, because then as these are cooked, they're going to form this gorgeous swirl. Cut side facing up, all sitting snugly and happily and cozily. Look at this little tin. Round them off a little bit, just keep the shapes. And put them into the tin, and you see when I'm putting them into the tin, there's a bit of space in between. That's okay, they're going to spread a bit as they bake. That's going to go now into the oven to bake. Hot oven for about 15 to 20 minutes until it gets lots of lovely colour, and then turn the oven down and cook it for about another 25 minutes. Great. That is lovely. It's ready. It's golden brown around the outside. Oh, look, the cardamom, lemon, pistachio butter is caramelized and bubbling up. Okay, so just loosen it around the edges while it's still a little bit hot. And then sit it on an upturned bowl. And it allows, you see, the sides of the tin to fall down. You just need to work to loosen it a little bit, like that. Slide it off. Comes off easily because I've buttered the base. Oh, there. You can decorate it with some honey, which is actually going to soak in because the swirls are still hot. And the honey's going to work really well with these flavors, the cardamom, the pistachio, and the lemon. It's nice and hot. Great. It's going to form a lovely sticky glaze. And then I've got some toasted pistachios. So I chopped the pistachios like I did for the butter inside. Just put them into a hot oven, the preheated oven for the swirls. And I cooked the pistachios for about 3 or 4 minutes. And that is a gorgeous bit of festive baking. My cardamom and pistachio swirls. And the idea here is everyone can just break off their own little swirl. Yay! It's Christmas!
Now, a fantastic recipe from Rachel. Now, the very talented Gareth Ward will be sharing 2 mind-blowing tuna recipes from his multi-Michelin star restaurant a little bit later. And don't miss this week's little masterclass, where I'll be showing you 3 different ways to glaze your Christmas hams. But I'll see you back here in a few minutes when we're chatting to Shirley Ballas over seafood mac and cheese. Oh, and don't forget the fillet steak that goes along the side. See you in a bit. Welcome back. Now, coming up, I'll be giving you a masterclass in glazing your own Christmas hams, and Chef Richard Corrigan will be laying on a dish of Guinea fowl. That's coming up next. But first, we've had Craig Revel-Horwood on the show, and I've cooked for Anton de Beck so many times I can't even remember. But it's an honour to finally be joined in the house by the real star of Strictly Come Dancing. But don't tell Anton. It's the brilliant Shirley Ballas! Good to have you on the show. We finally got you on the show.
I'm so excited.
So I thought you kindly sent us a load of dishes that you like. So I'm going to cook for you quite a lot, actually, today. We've got 2 dishes in the end part and 2 dishes now. So we're going to show you how to cook a steak, amazing fillet steak, because it's a little treat with it being Christmas. And I'm going to do this with seafood mac and cheese, because I know you like your mac and cheese, but this is kind of like a surf and turf sort of thing, really. I was reading all about you last night, and what a career, first of all. But I knew a little bit about your career, and I said a little bit about your career, because it's 18 years since I did Strictly. Can you believe it's 18 years? 18 years since I did it. But I remember when I was doing this, we used to watch videos of you doing the Latin. Yeah, because not even, I'm going to say this because the pros won't admit it, but there was one of these routines that you did. It was just incredible. Not even the pros could do it as well. Where did you fell in love with dancing through peering through a window, didn't you? You were doing something else as a young kid.
I did. I was doing CPR on a dummy in the Brownies. The Girl Guides and Brownies were all together, and I was doing the CPR. Then I heard this music, and then I thought, where's that coming from? So I excused myself to go to the loo, found this door, it had a lovely little peephole in it, so I dragged up to look, and I could see these people moving, but I didn't know what they were doing. And that's how it all began.
But was it the music that drew you into it first?
It was music that drew me. So, and then when I saw them moving so beautifully to the music, and they actually, I realise now, were relative beginners. It was like a normal little class in the week for them. But that's what drew me, was the music. I've always had a love for music, and I've always just totally in love with movement.
But then going from that, it happened unbelievably quick. Were you teaching people to dance at 17?
I certainly was. I taught a gentleman called Mr. Nymph the waltz. I remember it was for £5 for half an hour.
Right.
And at the time, I was working in the solicitors as an office junior, getting about £14 a week.
But you say you weren't very good at as a secretary. You weren't. It wasn't your forte.
I was by far the worst secretary that one could ever find.
Right.
I was just totally underqualified for it. But I did find my calling, you could say, in teaching. A little bit nerve-wracking, but I found it in calling and realised that there was, even at £5 for half an hour, was going to be a lot better than £16 for a whole week.
So tell me how you go from that, at that age, to then the stratospheric rise that you did, because you risked quite a lot when you were a young kid. You weren't frightened to move, you weren't frightened to change dance partners as well. But you weren't. Was that always the goal for you, that mission? Or
I don't think anything was ever the goal. It was just sometimes you're offered two ways to go and then you choose the destiny that you want to go or the road you want to take. I've moved 28 times in my life. I'm not attached to anything at all. But I left home when I was 14, moved to Yorkshire, met Nigel Tiffany, British ballroom dance champion, fell in love, got engaged, moved to London at 16, the bright lights with not a penny in my pocket. And then we were going to get married and have babies, and I got a job there I was underqualified for. And then my teacher said, what do you want to do? You want to have babies? You want to get married? Or would you like an opportunity to hit the big time and dance with a man called Sammy Stopford? I said, well, can I go home and talk to my fiancé? She said, no, you've got 10 minutes, and I would suggest you don't tell him. And then from there, I got to know Sammy Stopford, and it was a meteoric rise at 17. We won everything.
10 times US Latin champion?
No, oh, hold on. So I married Sammy at 18. We had 5 years together to this. We won everything, the youngest female to ever do that. And then I ran off with Shirley Ballas to America. Was there 3 months, decided I'd made a mistake, called Sammy, can I come back? He said, no. So I taught Corky to dance from scratch, all the international things. I won the championship in 83, came back in 84 and only made the first round. And I felt in Great Britain, everybody had sort of said, you know, you left, you made your bed, you lie in it, basically. And then I decided that I was going to do everything I could to get back into that top 6, whatever it took. In the meantime, I had a baby, moved back to Great Britain in 1990, and in 1995, Corky and I won the British Open to the World Championships, and my ex-husband was second. Oh, yes.
Deserves a round of applause, doesn't it? That even alone.
So, and then went on to win it again. So, you know, it was really...
But that's been your entire... Your life story. I mean, it's got to be a film. Surely you can't put... You've got to be able to put this in a film.
Well, I would like to think that that is a possibility for sure. But it was a journey, you know, it was difficult. I'm not saying it was like swimming upstream at certain points. But, yeah, it was quite difficult. And everybody said, you're wasting your time. He's a beginner. He's a chef. It made a great banoffee pie. But anyway, you'll never make it back again in the industry.
I'm risking it with this steak and mac and cheese, then, aren't it? Banoffee pie would have been a lot easier.
And anyway, we did. So we proved people that when they say you can't, you can. You just have to find the right avenue to be able to do that, so...
But I get the feeling that's always been like all your life as well, isn't it, really? I mean, we're here to talk about the book as well, because this is... You've not just written one book, you've written numerous books. This is a new venture for you, though. Tell us about this, because this is something very different.
Well, I wanted to write my autobiography, so I wrote my autobiography, but there were so many stories in it that they wouldn't let me put in the book for one reason or another. Yeah. So my mum said, why don't you write a cosy crime novel? You know, she loves to read, my mum. She's an avid reader. She said, I think you could put everybody with fictitious characters and you could write your 55 years of experience behind the scenes. It's a bit saucy, you know. I witnessed all sorts of things. I mean, the whole book is built on sex, lies, intrigue, backstabbing, bed hopping, manipulation, bullying, and a little bit of ballroom dancing going on there. So it's 55 years of whatever I've witnessed, you know. So that's the reason why I wrote it, with the encouragement of my mother. And it turned out actually to be a really good read. My mum read it, and then I went upstairs and I said, you're going to read it overnight? Which is what she normally does. And she said, I am. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, she was shouting, you didn't do this. Did you witness it? Were you part of it? What's wrong with you, child?
But look, we've got our prawn, this is our seafood mac and cheese, which has gone in there. So I've mixed together with a little brown shrimp over there, a little bit of crab. The prawn sits on there with some nice little bit of cheese. That's going to sit under our grill, which
That's
is
a big
there.
oven.
A big oven, yeah. And then we've got our steak. So I've got some fillet steak over here, because it doesn't take very long to cook a fillet. Hopefully you don't want this well done.
No.
How would you like the fillet steak?
Medium rare, I'll take.
Medium rare, I can do that. So the key to cooking a fillet steak, medium rare, is to have a nice hot pan on the stove. And then I use some vegetable oil. Touch of vegetable oil in our pan, get this nice and hot, and then we just pop our steaks in the pan. So very, very hot pan. Pop our steaks in the pan, and these are going to probably take no more than about a minute and a half on each side to cook.
Wow.
That's all. And then we're going to finish this off with butter and a little bit of this sort of stock cube to go with it. So when was the phone call for you? When was the Strictly moment? Because I suppose even back then when you were world champion, Strictly was still around then, and then it went off air for a while. Because, you know, ballroom dancing and Latin dancing was this quite not niche market, but it went global all of a sudden, didn't it? It went crazy.
My son was on Dancing with the Stars in the US, so I lived there for 11 years while he was on that show. I met Bruno. And then in 2017, when I was being badly bullied in my own industry, I decided I was going to take a different course, maybe a yoga course or a Keep Fit. You know, there was people in the industry stopping my work. And in 2017, my son said to me, why don't you go for Uncle Lenny's job? We've known Len all our life. He was one of my teachers. My son had some inside scoop. So basically, to cut a long story short, I said to him, you know, who's going to take a 57-year-old woman with zero TV experience on a show like that?
You've only got to watch YouTube to watch this one dance to realise you should have taken anybody. No problem.
But I went for the interview, paid for it myself, went there, did an absolutely disastrous interview because they sat me next to this rather large man, which was Craig Revel Horwood. I didn't know him, I'd never met him, and he was looking at me because I couldn't string two words together when they put Anne Whitcomb on for me to criticise. I had never quite seen anything like that.
Right.
But that was my introduction to Strictly Come Dancing. They asked me, how did you think you do? I told them it was rubbish. So they brought me back a second time for a second interview with just jeans on and a blouse and one executive producer and a camera. And my son helped me. You do this, this and this. And then I nailed that interview and the rest was history.
So we've just got our steak over here. This has gone in. We've got a nice little bit of steak. We're going to finish this off because we've got chefs on the show as well. These multi-Michelin star chefs. We finish this off in butter. And we need a decent amount of butter in here. Take some black pepper now, over the top, like that. And then, this is this little secret. You take a stock cube, little bit of beef stock cube over the top. And then you can decide how well you want it cooked, which I know this is going to be ready. We then just take this off and nappe the butter over the top. All the butter, but what this does is gives you... It slows you down when you're dancing.
You don't calorie count then when you're making this, do you?
This is the reason why I didn't reach the final, to be honest. I blame this, to be honest with you, not me. Not the fact of me, but look, you take the steak like that, and we're just going to leave that now to rest. So that's got a little bit of stock cube in there as well. So before we wrap this up, tell us a little bit about the story of the book then, because it starts off with one main character in it. There's a death in a competition.
So I'm Lily. We start the competition in Whitby, where we do the qualifying rounds, and then I take it to Blackpool. And there's a beautiful character in there called Oksana Bondarenko. And she goes into the embrace of Jack for the beautiful romantic tango, and she drops dead at his feet. Who murdered Oksana Bondarenko? And nobody who's read the book, by the way, ever got the murderer, just so that you know.
Right.
And then there's quite a few people that get murdered in this book. So I think the whole thing put together, I mean, like I say, did I witness it? Is it fiction? Did I take part in it? They're the questions that you have to ask.
So I get the feeling there's 2 books in the pipeline, is this?
Yes, my other book is Dance to the Death. That's written, that's already been edited at the moment. That'll be out next Christmas because there's just far too many stories. And the thing with this, bit like Coronation Street, it's ongoing. You know, in my industry, there's always a drama and there's always something going on. So it gives me plenty to write about.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking. You've got to stick around for the rest of the morning as well. But look, you've got, this is your simple little mac and cheese. Look. You've got your shrimp.
I'm so excited to eat that. I mean, that's a treat for me. You know that, right?
It's a treat for me and all. But look, you take a little bit of that.
Wow.
And then you've got your nice little bit of steak. So you want to take the steak like that, just finish it off with a little bit of butter over the top. And we can lift this off. That will sit on there. And then we've got a little Plusha watercress. Sits with it. But there we have it. My version of a simple little surf and turf. Done.
Cheers.
there we have it.
Thank
Dish
you
number
very
one.
much.
Dive into that one.
Wow. Oh, this looks lovely.
So,
Well,
surf
mac and
turf.
cheese. We'll try that. That's a real yummy treat.
A little bit of crab.
Oh. Oh my goodness! I'm not
And then
sharing
your
with
Then
anyone.
your steak. Tell me what you think of that. Little bit of.
Well, how about the knife just goes straight through it? So.
Well, that's because you allowed it to rest before you eat it, but also you cook it at room temperature.
So you cook like I dance. There you go.
Yes, I can cook better than I can dance. Put it that way. Shirley Ballas, everybody. Right, I've been treating Shirley to loaded potato skins and deep fried chicken later on this morning. We've got a masterclass in Christmas ham. But join us again after the break when Mr. Richard Corrigan will be wowing us with a recipe for guinea fowl. See you after the break. Welcome back. Now, there's still loads more to come from my guest, Shirley Ballas, and I'll be sharing my recipes for the perfect glazed hams in this week's Christmassy masterclass. But first, I'm here with Mr. Gareth Ward, and we're about to get a masterclass of our very own in cooking game from the true giant of the food world, whose CV includes stints behind the hobs of London's most famous restaurants that he just now happens to own. It's Richard Corrigan, of course. Great to have you back.
Great to see
you. Now, you're a bit nervous cooking for this fella, are you?
I am, I'll be honest with you.
You'll be fine. Well,
he's so many number ones. It's
well,
like
he's-
one.
He's
You know
cleaned
what I mean?
up. They cleaned up this year.
The best of the best.
So what are we going to be doing then? What are we? what are we making?
Guinea fowl. It's Christmas time, and I just think it's not terribly expensive as well.
Yeah.
I think I always look at them as good value. I think they always need a little perk up, like a pheasant.
Okay.
And you know what I mean, like a sausage baked with chorizo or a nuja. You know what I mean.
So you've got the. We're just going to finish this off. You've got the nenduja, which is like it's Calabrian sort of spicy sausage, but it's quite strong, isn't it? Really.
Very strong.
It's quite strong, and it's been used everywhere, overused in menus sometimes. You know, so you have to be really careful.
Yeah.
And I mix it with a bit of mascupone.
All right. Okay. Soften it down a bit.
Yeah, soften it down. There's no breadcrumb in it. You could put breadcrumb in it if you want to be really clever arse. You know what I mean? Really, and you know what I mean? But it's only James Martin. Why would I put breadcrumbs in it, you know? and a little bit of stuffing underneath the skin. I've loosened the skin with my finger just beforehand.
Yeah.
And be good and generous, yeah.
So what is that? About 50-50 mix? Or
It's less. It's around 60-40.
Right.
And the creaminess of the mascarpone in there really works well as well, James.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, you just give it a...
But it's also going to help in terms of keeping... Because one thing you don't want to be doing with this is overcooking it. Because they can go...
I always say if you're going to put that crown into an oven, it's around 35 minutes.
Yeah.
You want a kind of a core temperature inside around 60, 62.
Yeah.
And rest it really well. So, you know what I mean? Don't be afraid to...
I'll let you season it. Do you want to...
Yeah. I'm just going to wash my hands first.
I'll put the salt and pepper on it.
Please.
Bit of that.
Yeah.
Do you want some salt on it as well?
Yes, please. Yeah, not a lot, just a little bit. And of course, we have a little bit of. Why not? We can give it the whole winter, the winter umps.
Yeah.
And in that goes. And then just at the side, just stick that just in there.
There you go.
Right,
Right.
that
I'll let
goes
you wash
into
your
the
hands and
oven.
I'll go do this. So this, you said 35 minutes in the oven, yeah?
Yeah, around in an oven or a wood-burning oven, maybe 35, 40. But you are looking for core temperature around 60, 62, 63. Well rested, so...
Sounds good. So what are we going to serve that with? Because you've got a selection of bits and pieces.
We are
haven't you?
going to serve that with a little kind of call it a little vegetable autumnal winter casserole.
Right. So almost like the ratatouille, but winter version.
A winter version, so a tiny little bit of oil.
Okay. Now, you, as well as this chap being busy, you've been busy this year as well. What's this? Tell me about this freedom of the City of London, because I find this fascinating. My dad's got this, and you got one as well.
I put the sheep over the bridge. The sheep over the bridge.
This allows you to take sheep over. Is it Tower Bridge, London Bridge?
Yeah,
London
it is. It's London Bridge.
London Bridge.
And
but what was that like for you? Because you've been in London for how long now? I mentioned London at the top of this.
35, 36 years.
Wow.
36 years.
And I remember walking into London with a case.
Right.
And, you know, you have this dream as the immigrant, you know, like New York is paved with gold.
Yeah.
Well, you know, forget about it. London is one of the greatest cities in the world.
Yeah. You still think that after 35 years? Because so much has changed in London, hasn't it, really?
James, London is one of the greatest cities in the world. I won't change my mind on that. I've made up my view on it.
Yeah.
If you're ambitious and you want to get on, you know, London comes to you.
Because Corrigan's.
Corrigan's, yeah.
Corrigan's, that's in Mayfair.
Well, the great sadness this year, Nico Landin has passed away.
Yeah.
One of the great chefs in London. And my site in Mayfair was Nico's kitchen, believe it or not, and it still is Nico's kitchen. Because I'm a farmer, so I don't throw everything into a skip. Right. You know what I mean? I keep everything.
Because I remember it being on Park Lane. Was that the restaurant bit? Was
right on the Park Lane. I just moved the entrance.
Okay.
I just moved the entrance around a little bit.
Right.
And it works very well.
So you're starting off with the onions?
Start off with the onions, right? That's the key in there. Now I'm going to put in the rhubarb.
So what do you put rhubarb in there?
Rhubarb in there.
Right.
Some sep in there.
Yeah.
And now you need to be careful. We don't want to fry the sep. I don't like fried mushroom. I like...
Yeah, and you like me, just wilted mushroom, innit? Just like lightly cooked.
God, I'm glad I'm still on trend. God, you're making me sound good here, you know? Keep talking, yeah?
I don't like fried mushroom, heavily fried mushroom. Just cooked in it.
Just cooked.
And don't be afraid, ever, of controlling that temperature with a bit of water.
Okay.
So just a little bit.
So now you cook the guinea fowl that we've got on here.
Guinea fowl is cooking away there.
Bring this one over here. This is the one that's been.
Oh, that's just one.
Cooked. You've got amazing juices from here, though. This is the lovely juices.
And some of that will go in here as well, but not a lot.
Okay. Right. So we got that. That's then resting.
Now, that's resting there. Now the key is we have some figs here.
Right.
And really important for me.
Yeah.
Is
just
do
that, Chief?
Yeah. Would you put that just in at the side? Just let it rest there. Lovely.
Okay.
Is basically just take the skin off the figs.
So you peel the figs?
Peel the figs.
Right. Why?
I think figs, first of all, I never know what's sprayed on them. And I'm never happy with the flavour of the outside of the fig.
Right.
It just doesn't do anything for me. And I think it always should be removed. Like, sometimes you peel an apple, sometimes you don't. For this dish, I'd like it peeled. And these just need warming in the mixture, really.
Yeah. But you managed to take existing restaurants like Corrigan's, but then take on iconic restaurants like Bentley's, because Bentley's is one of my favourite places, and particularly your love of seafood shines through there, but particularly oysters.
I think, you know, the whole feeling about places like Bentley's is you're custodian of these restaurants, and if you think you own them, then you have something else.
So how long's Bentley's been there?
Bentley's is there since 1916.
Right.
And, you know, but I'd hate to feel that anyone felt I didn't do it any justice whatsoever. Yeah, now you're talking. Yeah. And then I'll just give it a tiny bit of acid. No more.
Just take that off?
Here, just a little bit of this.
Balsamic.
Just a tiny, just no more.
Okay.
That's it.
I'll leave that on there.
And you just leave that there. And I just think when you're feeling that, you could have a slice of turkey on that. You could have a nice chicken.
And then what you've got in here, what have you got in
That's
here?
just cauliflower. It's cream.
Right.
Milk, cauliflower, lots of it. Just puree down in a liquidizer. And I like it because I think it goes really well with the whole thing.
Right. So that's the cauliflower.
Yeah,
and you've got something else in here. What is this?
This is that is a little bit extra that I'd put in there.
Right.
That I brought with me.
Right.
And I don't need it, right?
Oh, you don't need
One
it?
of my chefs put it in.
All right, so this is for my supper for later.
This is for your supper for later,
Okay.
yeah?
All right.
And I just think, look at that guinea fowl, lovely. I mean, the best thing about the guinea fowl is just, I think, the wings, yeah? And you just take a...
But I've known you for several decades now. You still love food as much as you loved it the first time I met you.
I love growing it. I love cooking it. I love people in the business.
Yeah.
I just love the whole game, really. You know
It's a
what I mean?
magical
Really.
job, isn't it, really? We feel very lucky
Yeah.
doing this.
And that's, you know what I mean?
That's perfect.
And if you find this a little bit too little pinky for those delicate morsels of people out there we're working with today, you know what I mean, really?
What about him?
I don't think so. You can always just put it back in the pan to give it. And, you know, you take a nice bit of puree. This
Like
is
you
a
say,
nice
proper
family,
cooking,
proper taste. Then we take a little bit of our lovely gems, beautiful. And we take...
That looks and smells amazing. what I will do, because
And it's like, this is your vegetable as well, so, you know, be generous. So just gonna... So, little squeeze of lemon. Tiny little bit of seasoning. I get it.
Try that, like.
And better peeled.
Where else is there? I was just looking for my pan. Which
There, that's the juice, you see?
Yeah, no, just that piece of sep there. I can't. And a little bit of juice, James. Will you pour a little bit over that? Go on, just a little bit. No, yeah.
So give us the name of this dish, then.
It's the Guinea fowl with rhubarb, seps and fig, with a cauliflower, and a little bit of spiced sausage.
With one of the true
Jura.
legends of the food world. Richard Corrigan, everybody.
Thank you.
For you, Mr. Ward.
Thanks very much.
There you have it. There you have it.
Unbelievable, that.
Super tasty. There's your knives and forks.
Thanks very much.
There we go. Dive in.
Autumnal feast.
Exactly. And that nanduyo is just, whether you do it with a little bit, you put mascarpone with, you put butter in it, it's beautiful, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and it's good. Yeah, and it's only left over. You can mix in a bit of pasta.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? It makes a great lunch as well,
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's absolutely delicious, but...
Delicious, mate.
It's a proper chef.
Yeah.
Proper cooking.
Proper chef.
It's easy as that. Richard Corrigan, everybody. Thank you, pal. Legend. Right, Gareth will be cooking for us a little bit later, and I'll be serving up a second course for my guest, Shirley Ballas, at the end of the show. But don't go anywhere, because after the break, we're back in the kitchen with my old dear friend and a friend of the show as well, Mr. Brian Turner. I'll see you in a bit.
Legend.
Welcome back. Now, coming up, I'll be giving you a masterclass in preparing the perfect Christmas hams, and I'll be finishing off the show in style while making loaded potato skins for my guest, Shirley Ballas. That and deep-fried chicken. But first, Christmas is a time to get together with family and friends, so it's great to have Gareth and, of course, Richard to be here, but this gentleman as well, as cooking with me, is my TV dad. It's the brilliant Brian Turner! Happy Christmas, fella.
Happy Christmas, lad.
Happy Christmas to you. So what are we going to be making then? What are you going to be making for us?
Well, I'm doing a dish which in the 1970s was the king of the dishes.
Yeah.
It marries together scallops, fresh scallops, smoked haddock, not dyed,
Yeah.
and a little vegetables.
Yeah.
And in sparkly, it used to be
Champagne,
but now it's the king of
Well, we know we've got
sparkling
amazing
wines.
fizz in this country as well anyway, so I know you want to get on and do this this haddock, and particularly you've got the non-dyed stuff over here, which these gentlemen have got your eye on. It's one of your favourite foods, isn't it, really? Both of
I
yours.
love haddock.
Unbelievable.
So there's your haddock. Now, those people are just tuning in as well. Probably the first time you've seen you on TV in a while. You've not been very well recently.
Well, yeah.
But you're doing an amazing job raising money for a certain charity and certain to raise awareness for this. So tell us the awareness that you're raising.
The nuts and bolts is that I had a stroke nearly 18 months ago, and I'm recovering, but very slowly. And the Stroke Association use me whenever possible to spread the message, and they're doing a damn good job.
So I'm going to layer this up. Now, you do an amazing job for the charity that you've been involved in with this. Fast. First one is F. I'm putting you to the test here.
Yeah. Face.
Yeah.
Not sunken.
Yeah. A.
A for arms. Can you raise your arms?
Yeah. S.
Speech.
Speech. And then T.
And then T for time.
Got it.
Because we got to get people to hospital very fast if they have a stroke. And that's the big message.
That's the massive message as well.
Thank
But you remembered it.
Well, with your help.
It doesn't matter, mate. Right, so we got in here. Look, we got in here because the guys are waiting for something to eat. So what do we do with the scallops then? You've layered those up. No salt and pepper.
No, not salt and pepper. I like to do the dish is a pure, just marriage of ingredients.
Yeah.
And they
So you want to steam these?
steam about 6 or 8 minutes, but don't overcook them.
I'm going to lift one on there and one on there. Okay, but you keep them in the paper so you can keep the juice, is that right?
The tricks, you might... Richard might remember the tricks. You keep the buttered paper to keep...
I love cooking with the butter paper. I'll still do it. I'm young.
When I'd see them in the bin, there'd be you know, a little bit of...
Exactly.
My chef, so what you doing with that?
Yeah, I mean...
That's the best.
Now, I said this...
People used to be killed. Not metaphorically, but people used to be killed to the store of buttered papers.
So don't lose the buttered paper. Right, so in here you've got some stock. So explain to us what we got in here.
All a little bit of water and wine, and a bit of leeks and shallots, and it's just to add a little bit of flavour to the to the
stock. So you don't waste anything.
We come from Yorkshire.
Well, I know you. You learned your trade in your dad had a transport caff, didn't he?
Yeah, fantastic. I was head chef about 10 years.
Right.
I'm the only chef.
Yeah.
And then
our two brothers and sisters, but younger.
Right. So I've got some shallot on here. You want a little bit of shallot?
Yeah.
How much butter would you like in there? More?
Excuse me.
More then. All right.
Are we on a budget?
Remember that though, can't you?
It's Christmas time.
Right.
Anyway, just melt butter.
Shallot?
Yes.
In there. Right. Okay. A little bit of shallot. So this is for the sauce.
Okay.
This takes 6 minutes.
But 6 minutes. Have your time in.
I've got it in my head. No problem. It's fine. This one.
So it was a champagne butter sauce originally, but now thanks to the fantastic quality of British sparkling wines, then...
Which is down the road. This one is funny enough. This one's from less than 10 miles away. This one. So this is a little local fizz, award-winning fizz. I think this is amazing. This one as well. But I think the English sparkler's just got. Yeah, it's amazing now, isn't it? Really. But there you have it.
Cheers, Brian.
Cheers. Merry Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas.
There you go. Ching, ching, ching. Ching, ching. Right. Now, weren't you one of the first Michelin star chefs in the UK?
Yes. With Richard Shepherd.
That deserves a round of applause, doesn't it? One of the first, with Mr. Shepherd.
With Mr. Shepherd.
Yeah.
We were the first English.
So where were you working? Where was that at that moment in time?
The Capitol Hotel.
And so, what made you come to London in the first place? As you Yorkshire lad, from your transport caff. What took you to London?
In those days, you had major hotels to apply to: the Savoy, the Dorchester, Park Lane hotels, and then just to drop because we don't. Okay.
Bit more. Or is there no budget on this one?
Yeah, just. It's your bottle, so it's okay. So,
this one.
And otherwise, you used to applied to work on the boats, the cruise ships.
Yeah.
And I didn't receive any replies apart from one at Simpson's in the Strand, which was owned by the Savoy Hotel.
Yeah.
At that moment in time.
An iconic place in London.
Yeah,
iconic place.
Amazing.
Right, so this is reducing down. What's next?
Shallots would... OK, right,
Green?
a little bit of vinegar.
A little bit of vinegar. Tell me how much?
No, thumb. That's all, OK. Put it all in. Remember, you can use less and add it, but you can't use more and take it away.
Yeah.
So just be careful of it.
Cream?
Now, cream.
Tell me, stock. Stock first. So this is the stock. How long have you cooked the stock for?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. All right. Now we crank it up a bit. Cream?
Yeah.
Tell me when?
Oh, sorry.
When?
No.
Tell me when?
OK, and when?
When. Right. OK, that's that. So we heavily reduce that down, just to have a little look in that we've got in here as well. That's cooking away.
You can see now that the
about a minute left.
Away. Yeah.
So that's going on there as well. And then you want me... So you don't stop working for charity, you. So you're not just working for that charity. You're doing all manner of different stuff. of the hospitality business. You still keep doing that. So what are you working on still at the moment?
Well, I'm still president of the Royal Academy of Culinary Arts, and then we run a competition from Springboard called
Young Chef?
Future Chef.
Yeah.
Have you judged ones?
I've judged it, yeah.
We may be asking you again sometime.
Yeah. And you're doing the Adopter School as well. And if that wasn't enough, I think the big one, really, that we're both involved in is the Roux Scholarship, which looks at...
Just stir it.
Stir it?
I don't want it to catch. For your reputation, you're okay.
I feel under pressure doing this.
Actually, put a bit more champagne in there now.
A bit more in there. Tell I'm paying the bill for this one, can't you? Exactly. Bit of that.
So we're very fortunate in the Roux Scholarship. It's 40th anniversary this year, and the young lady who won the Roux Scholarship this year was April Lily Partridge.
Yeah.
And she started in Future Chef.
Did she start that? Well, yeah.
She was
So you've seen her all the way through?
Absolutely right.
Right, so we've got... So this is the sauce now. So we've got that... I've got some little bit of chives over here. I've got a little bit of tomato in here. And then we add the butter that we've got in here. I never really asked you this. Which was your most memorable time when you were as a chef? Because you've now... Well, not retired, because you never retire you. But when you had your apron on proper professionally cooking, was that at Walton Street? Was the magical time for you?
Yeah, it was. I never got a Michelin star in, but it was political, as these guys will tell you. It can tend to be sometimes. Now, we get
I'll pick that.
Just we're not going to chop it. If it's nice, pick nice.
Okay, I'll just lift this off. So that's your nice little bit of...
Now, before you go,
juice.
Oh, yeah. The best bit.
Fantastic, OK.
Happy with that?
And I'm sure it's enough cooked.
It's fine. It looks good to me. So I'll take this out.
Chives in there, chef.
Yes, please, boss.
Please.
Yes, no problem. Next, tomatoes?
Yes, we go.
You sure?
Yeah, yes, we're ready to get. We're ready to rock and roll.
Happy with that? Pepper?
We're just gonna taste it again.
It's interesting, the tasting and tasting and tasting.
Tasting and tasting. Look at all the spoons that he's used.
Do you know, sometimes I don't know how good I am.
We love you, Brian.
Ready,
we love
chef?
you, man.
So a little bit of that. I'm going to slide that off on there. I'm going to take these, slide that off on there. Those are done. We're then going to take our... You did want black pepper.
Yes, I've changed my mind.
So, bit of that. And lift these out on there.
So,
Happy me to plate up?
with a spoon, yeah, OK. Thank you.
There you go on that.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
And there you go on there.
Beautiful.
So you know it's going to taste good, this, though, don't you?
Yeah.
A very chefy chowder. Whoa.
It is a chefy.
Yeah. At least you know what a portion is, Brian, yeah? You know what a portion of seafood.
I remember... that's a warning for you, because you're cooking next. Look. A little bit of chervillon.
Just chervil and plum centre.
Plum centre.
Plum centre.
Plum centre. So give us the name of this dish.
It's the Tower of Scallops and Smoked Haddock, dedicated to James Martin.
Now, by a true, absolute legend. It's a pleasure having you this Christmas. Mr. Brian Turner! Bon appetit, gentlemen.
Looks
Have a
unbelievable.
taste of that one. Have a
Thank
taste
you
of
very
that.
much, Brian.
Thank you,
Thank
Brian.
you.
Have a taste of that.
Thank you,
one.
guys.
Well, as soon as you tasted this sauce 50 million times, should I have a little taste of it ourselves?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You happy with that?
Yeah, indeed.
The haddock's still opaque.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It mustn't overcook,
No, beautiful.
but it undercooked is bad. And the scallops look fantastic.
Look at that.
So good.
Proper food, eh? Brian Turner, everybody. Now we've got the genius, which is Gareth Ward. He'll be cooking for us later on in the show. And we also got a show-stopping recipe in store for my guest, Shirley Ballas, at the end of the show. But see you back in a couple of minutes when I'll be giving you a masterclass in glazed hams for Christmas. See you in a bit. What do you rate of that, Ralph? I think you'll like that one.
Look at this.
Welcome back. Now, there's still loads more to come from my guest, Shirley Ballas, and the man behind the #1 restaurant in the entire country, and I definitely agree with that. Gareth Ward will be taking over this very kitchen. That's coming up next. But first, no pressure then, as it's time for this week's Little Masterclass. And this week, with Christmas just a few days away, I thought I'd show you 3 different ways how you can glaze a ham for this festive season. So first of all, what do you do with the ham when you're faced with it? Well, first of all, gammon and ham are the same thing. It's once cooked, it's simple as that. But the most important thing with this is really ask the butchers or the supermarket. It'll say on the back of the packet, if you do buy it from the packet, but it's really if you get it from the butchers, whether it needs to be soaked or not. And that's all to do with the brine that the ham is. Now, some of these can be brined and then pre-soaked, but either way, what you need to do is soak this if possible. So if it does need soaking, it needs a good 4 or 5 hours. A lot of chefs would do this overnight, really. Soak it in water, that's it. But you're faced with a nice little ham like that. Leave the skin on, leave the string on as well, that's the most important bit, and then pop it into a deep pan. So that's going to go in there. Now, what we're going to do is fill this full of water, so cold water in there. So that's going to fill it all up. Now, if your pan, like me, is not quite big enough, don't worry, because we can turn this over while it's cooking as well, anyway, when you're doing that. So I'll just quickly wash my hands. There you go. And then what we do is add some aromats to this. Now, the aromats are pretty straightforward, I like to use for ham. So I've just got some onion, I've got some apple, and I've got lemon. Now, I would stay clear of aromats that you're not going to enjoy if you think about the stock, because the stock from this is really essential. We can utilise this for other things as well once it's cooked. So things like the apple are perfect. A little bit of lemon, not too much. You can put things like orange if you wanted to. The onion, you can take the whole lot, skin the lot, pop it all in. Then what we add is different aromats that we've got over here. So a classic Christmas aromats really are these we've got in here. We've got a little bit of cinnamon. I've got some star anise, which I absolutely love with ham as well. And I've got some cloves. It's entirely up to you whether you use one or all 3. It doesn't matter. But you can add things like bay leaf if you wanted to in there as well. Now, what you want to do is bring this to a gentle simmer. Really, for a ham this sort of size, which is about 3 to 4 kilos, you're looking at something in about 2.5 to 3.5 hours, something like that. Depends on the size of it. The larger ham's obviously much more, 4 hours. Either way, just leave it gently simmering, cover it over. If like this, you're a bit worried about it, don't worry, because it'll shrink slightly as it cooks as well, but you can turn this over after about halfway through. Whatever you do, leave the string on it like that. It'll just hold it all together. Particularly hold it all together while you allow it to cool. So once it's cooked, allow it to cool down at room temperature or pop it in the fridge, and this is what you end up with. There's a little bit of layer of fat on this. Once it's cold like this, you can skim off this little bit of fat. And this stock is brilliant for sort of pea and ham soup. It's absolutely delicious. But either way, we then take our ham out like that, and then I can take the string off. So just remove the string from this. And you can see straight away, if you allow it to cool down in the pan, the string will just hold it together as it cools. You do this while it's still hot, it'll just break apart like that. So often, people just think you can do this while it's still warm. You really want this to come to sort of room temperature or cool right down. And you end up with this glorious bit of ham that we've got in here. So at that point in time, I'm going to put that into our little pan. So I'm just going to give a little bit of a wipe down over here, because then we can concentrate how we're going to glaze this. Now, I'm going to do 3 different glazes with this one. You can take all 3. You can have one of them. It's entirely up to you. But either way, you can utilise these glazes for other things. So some of which you can use for your turkey this Christmas as well. So we're going to take off like that. Now, I'm going to do sort of a marmalade glaze, first of all. So we're going to do this marmalade one. We take some nice orange marmalade, take a spoon, and pop this over the top, like that. So, decent amount. A whole pot, really, like that. Then, once you get to that stage, we can then add a few different spices over here. So I can add some nice little bits of lemon. That can go in here. So a couple of wedges of lemon. Then I can take the spices that we've got and add a few more. Over here, I've got some mustard seeds. Different coloured mustard seeds. White and dark mustard seeds. They go on there. I love this sort of spiced one as well. Then we can grab some cloves, a few bits of those, a couple of sticks of cinnamon over the top, a little bit of star anise. But whenever you're doing anything with sugar like this, particularly when it comes to honey, I'm going to show you that one in a second, it's a good idea to take some water. Just to get a bit of water over there. Not too much, probably want a couple of 100 mils, something like that. So then as this cooks, because you're going to set the oven 200 degrees, and the same temperature for all of these hams, 200 degrees. It's quite a hot oven. So as it cooks, this will grate a lovely little syrup, and it wants to be in there for about half an hour. Every 10 minutes, you baste it. The nearer it gets to the half an hour, every 5 minutes. So think about it, probably the first 20 minutes, maybe twice. Certainly the last 10 minutes, probably 3 or 4 times you want to take this out and baste it. And particularly when it comes out of the last bit, you can baste it again. But either way, this goes straight in the oven for the first bit. And what you end up with, that one, is this glaze over here, this glorious sort of glaze as it starts to thicken up like that. Now, if you don't put that little bit of water in there, this is just going to be horrible and black and burnt. So a little bit of water is a good tip to that one. The next one we'll turn our attention is this one, your classic honey glazed ham over here. So this one, take another little pot, and then we can take your ham, whichever one you think and you like that. And then what I do with this one is score this. So just take a knife and you score this over the skin. Now, a lot of people will take the skin off, but I used to be a pig farmer. And this, my granny would get so upset if we took the skin off like this and got rid of it, because this, I used to fight for this as a kid once it's glazed. Trust me, it's absolutely delicious. And then you take your cloves like this. So you want the cloves, and you can pop this usually in where the 2 crosses meet. But it's entirely up to you. Life's too short to find all that. But either way, particularly you're busy enough at Christmas anyway, just take the cloves and we stud it all in the top like that. This is where finding those little crosses where the 2 bits of slices that you've made in between the fat, this is where these little cloves will actually just stick in. But you want to take these and stud it all over the top. I mean, the massive hams are going to take you a while, but this is only quite a small one, so it's not too bad. But just stud it all over the top, like that. And the same process applies. So when you're doing this, set the oven again, 200 degrees, and have this quite hot. So the great thing about this is you can prepare this way in advance, as we all know, because nice cold hams for Christmas is amazing, but plenty of cloves over the top, like that. So stud them all in. There we go. You should be always buying these cloves anyway. I've done so many white sauces on this show as well with a thing called an onion cloute, which is so vital, I think, for this. But you can take your nice little bit of ham like that, a few bits more. But either way, make sure you've got plenty of these cloves studded in, because you get this amazing flavour from them. So those are going to go in. Then, what we do is grab our honey. So you want a good glug of honey for this one. Honey glazed ham is a good glug of ham and honey. Look, there. Now, if I put that straight in the oven as it is, it's just going to burn, a bit like the marmalade. So again, a little bit of water, 200 mils of water in the bottom like that. And that way, as it cooks, what will happen is this will glaze over. You'll get this wonderful little sauce with it, and keep basting it exactly like the marmalade one. After about sort of 20 minutes, then take it out every sort of 3 or 4 minutes, get really, really hot as it starts to colour up, and keep glazing it like that. As soon as it comes out, glaze it even more as it's cooling down. And as you glaze it even more as it's cooling down, that glaze will actually set onto the ham as it's cooling. But either way, again, straight into a hot oven. That's that one. When it comes out of the oven, it looks like this, your classic honey roast ham. It looks glorious, doesn't it, like that? Our classic one is something slightly different. This is where you can actually use this for your turkey. But what you need to do is you take your ham like this. If you're doing this with a turkey, you would cook, probably if your turkey took 4 hours to cook, after 3 hours, that's when you do the glaze. So take the tin foil off, then make the glaze. But you do need to drain off the gubbins from the tray, all your juices and bits and pieces, so your tray is almost dry in the bottom. Add a little bit of water, but then add some of this stuff. We've got an Irish chap on the show. He'd love this, Mr. Corrigan. You take some Guinness, like that, over the top. Now, this may appear weird, but you can actually do this with soft drinks. Cherry Coca-Cola, that kind of stuff, Coca-Cola, that kind of stuff. You can do this. I wouldn't say practice that over your turkey this Christmas on Christmas Day, but this will work. So honey and that over the top. Then you do exactly the same thing as I did before, but this will take a little bit longer. This is probably going to take this is probably going to take about 40 minutes to cook. When it comes out of the oven, it's really important when you do this, as it comes out, you keep basting it every sort of 3 or 4 minutes, like that, for a good 10 minutes, and it'll glaze over into this beautiful ham. But that is your Guinness glazed ham. The same thing with the turkey. Once about an hour towards the end of it, as it comes out, keep glazing it, and you end up with these 3 amazing hams, which I'm going to pop on here. Whichever recipe you do, so you've got your... This is the first one I made, which is this glorious... I'll bring this over. This is this wonderful marmalade glazed ham, which we can take off. That one. You can see, looks amazing, tastes amazing as well. You've got the second one that I made over here, which is the honey roast ham, which is your classic, beautiful honey glazed ham. You've got this amazing little sauce as well. These keep this liquor over the top. Put this and keep it in the fridge, and then when your things like parsnips come out of the oven, these over parsnips and carrots, this liquid, unbelievable. So don't waste any of that, because that's delicious. And you can still use this glaze as well for your parsnips as well, but this one is your Guinness glazed ham over the top. Either way, whichever ham you decide to use, the glazes are amazing, particularly these 2 ones. Rather than the marmalade one, for your vegetables. But there you have it. My glazed honey roast ham, marmalade ham, and Guinness roast ham. Done. Yay! Now, if there's anything you'd like to learn about Little Mascots, then do get in touch with me, see if we can help out right here on the show. Time now for a quick break now, but join me again when the mega-talented Mr. Gareth Ward, the UK's #1 chef, will be taking over this very kitchen. I'll see you in a bit. It's not bad, though, that. Welcome back. I'll be making the ultimate loaded potato skins and deep-fried chicken for my guest, Shirley Ballas. That's coming up next. But first, I'm here with Richard and Brian, and we're about to enjoy a dish from a chef whose North Wales restaurant has been voted the best place to eat in the entire British Isles. Not just this year, but last year as well. It's the brilliant Gareth Ward. Yeah. Now, gentlemen, you've never tasted it. I am so excited.
You've stitched me up today, you are.
Do you know what? I'm so excited this gentleman's here. Purely for, I want to see the reaction of these gentlemen's faces when you taste this food. Because the 3 best meals I've ever had in my life have been the 3 times I've eaten at his place. It is epic. So what are you going to be doing?
It's bad enough cooking for you, you know, without these 2.
Well, these 2 as well. So I'm just excited to see their faces. That's what I want to see.
So we've got some beautiful amachi here, yellowtail, so it's part of the tuna family. Yeah. This has been in our... We have a -80 freezer at the restaurant. Yeah. This has been in there. We blast freeze it down.
What does the -80 do? It just does the opposite of boiling,
so it kills all of the bugs and everything in there that are present in raw fish. Okay. You shouldn't really eat raw fish without it going down at least below -40. Okay. Yeah, so it just makes it safe.
Right. So you're going to do 2 dishes with this then? Yeah, so I'll let you butcher this up.
We've got the belly part, obviously, down there, which is the fattiest part, and then you've got the top loin. So we're just going to break it down now. So,
where did your love affair with Japanese food come from? Because you've only, until recently, been out there.
Yeah, I only went out in April.
Right.
Went out for 8 days. Went to meet the guy who makes our soy sauce.
Yeah.
So it's just, I love them flavours. I love the whole ethos.
You've never been out there?
No, never. It's the same as Thai food and Chinese and everything. I just love them flavours. So it's all like, it's basically just, I cook what I love to eat, same as this man here. Yeah. You know, we've just tasted an unbelievable dish from him, which was, it's just what he loves to cook.
But I mentioned the fact that your restaurant is your restaurant. I mean, yours at the time, Brian, you had a restaurant in Walton Street. That was you all over it.
Absolutely.
But you as well. Your restaurant, explain to everybody where it is and what it is, because you've changed it a lot.
Yeah, so when I arrived at Innisea, it was a country house hotel. 7 days a week.
With the fancy wallpaper and
breakfast, lunch, dinner, the whole shebang.
Yeah. And now you've painted it.
Painted it black, ripped most of the walls out inside, painted all the inside really dark green.
Yeah.
Got a DJ.
It's amazing. So just look at show people the fat of this. Just look at the fat of that.
You can see if you rub your fingers across it how fatty it is. You know.
So you've had this incredible. You've had this. It comes out of the freezer. You've then had this in the salt chamber for how long?
In the salt chamber for a week.
Right.
Yeah, and then we're just going to take the belly bit out first. We want to take the belly bit out first because I want to marinate it very quickly in this, which is a soy sauce.
Okay.
With mirin, sugar, some kombu and bonito. So it's like a bit like it's called a tari. So it's like a mother sauce.
And when you mentioned the fact you went to Japan for the soy, when you taste soy sauce, that you've never tasted soy sauce like it until you've had proper soy sauce.
The soy sauce that we use is from the Shibanuba family, and they've been making soy sauce for 350 years. The same family, and it's just passed down. It's like 19th generation now. Yeah. And it is mind blowing. We've witnessed it being made. We've seen the process. It's one of the best soy sauces on the market. It's completely raw soy sauce as well.
So you're going to put that and then pop it in the. So you slice it.
So we just taking the belly off the bottom like so.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to make sure all the bones are out. We've got this beautiful collar bit here, which we're just going to take out because the bone just runs through the middle there.
Yeah.
Going to cut this in half like so, and we're just going to leave that in there. So I'm just going to slice this up now. I'm going to give you this guy just to try as it is because it's just...
I'm going to take it and sell it.
You've got
just look at the way that it's working with a knife.
Fantastic.
You've got to appreciate what this is. Like, you can't overcomplicate this stuff. I've had people going like, oh, the fish dishes were a bit simple at the restaurant. I'm like, what do you want me to do with it? You know what I mean?
But all the work, you've done a tremendous amount of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you the first bit, though. Completely unseasoned.
Thank you.
It's magical, isn't it? It's such an incredible piece of fish.
And that's raw. That's
just raw. We're just going to put a few lines in this here, so when we brush it with a tari.
So this one gets this. Are you going to cook this one, or are you going to cook this one?
This one's raw. That one is almost raw. All we're going to do with that is flash it on the barbecue.
Flash it on the barbecue. And this one you want to put in the small dishes. Is this one? Is this?
This one's for the big dishes.
The big dishes.
Yeah,
all right. Okay.
So we're going to put that on there like so.
And the attention to detail you've got. These dishes are made with the stone from your place.
Yeah. So we've got a little stream at the bottom of the garden.
Right.
The old potter comes over and takes all the stones out, and she smashes it all up and mixes it through the clay. And she uses the ash out the fire as glaze as well.
Right.
So this is the little tari, the same stuff that's in there. We just brush this
already
on the fish.
Quiet. They haven't tasted the real thing yet. And how long do you leave that just as it is?
Just a couple of seconds. Not long.
Right. So what have you got in there?
This is that. So that's
that.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the tari, the soy sauce. Yeah. So we're going to leave that there for now.
Okay. Right. What's next?
So we're going to slice this fish up and we're going to skewer it.
Yeah.
Just like so.
And what I also love about your place is that not just the food's spectacular, but the drinks menu. You've probably got, what, 2 gins? It's really specific.
It is, yeah. We use a local gin company. In my opinion, it's one of the best gins on the planet.
Yeah.
And we know the guys.
Have you tasted them all?
I've tasted them all, yeah. I've been through a few.
Good man, good man.
This you're going to barbecue?
Yeah. So we're just going to skewer this like that.
Right.
Like so. We'll get this tray, and we're just going to barbecue this over here.
And this is where you want a little bit of...
You want to get a bit of heat, because we don't want to cook it. We just want to char it.
Did you bring this fan?
Yeah.
Is this your fan?
It's my fan. It's my biggest fan. Getting covered in dust, man.
Well, it's coming over you and me, so
Yeah,
I'll do that.
we've got dandruff already.
Happy with that?
Yeah,
look at that. Look at that.
That's what you want. So we'll just pop
This
him
is
off.
almost ready to serve then.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
we're not far off.
Pop him off onto the tray. Just like so.
And this is what I love about when you come to your place. You're always behind this thing.
Yeah, I'm on the stove. I'm not ready to stop cooking yet. I'm still going strong.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll get rid of that.
Yep.
And we'll put these dishes together.
Which plates do you want first?
So we'll have the big ones first.
The big ones first.
Yeah.
All right. They go on there. So these. I'm going to get rid of the ash off me.
Yeah.
Onto you, onto
bit?
us.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
So a bit of this hamachi in the bottom.
And this is the thing is with yours, it's 30-odd courses, but little.
Yeah, it's all one mouthfuls.
Whack of flavour.
Yeah. and
So
then we're
what's the thinking, because I'm an older man now, of serving a big bowl and a little bowl?
So that's one course.
Yeah.
That's another course.
That's another 2 different courses. So when you come to the
Two
restaurant,
separate courses.
we make 2 dishes out of the whole fish, so we use everything.
But every dish is served in a different...
Yeah.
different bowl.
Okay.
So we're just going to grind this wasabi.
So this is the shark skin.
This is the shark skin, yeah.
You see, I don't like horseradish because
No.
I just don't like the taste of it.
Horseradish and wasabi are very different.
They're
thing, yeah.
totally different thing, isn't it?
Yeah, completely
It's not
different
even the
thing.
same planet.
But the thing is, a lot like people say, "Oh, I hate wasabi," but they've never had real wasabi because a lot of wasabi is fake. You know, there's not enough wasabi in the world.
Green
for you.
horseradish.
Yeah, but it's got food colouring, hasn't it?
Right, so you just put a tiny little bit in there.
Yeah, you don't need a lot. Just a little bit. Just give it a kick, isn't it?
Yeah.
That freshness. Wasabi, like, really seasons raw fish. I absolutely love it. Just like that. And then we've got this white dressing here.
Okay.
Made
What
from
have
the
you got
white
there?
soy. So this is the white soy, brown rice, sake, mirin,
Yeah.
sugar, and then split with a beautiful white, like really light roasted sesame oil.
Okay.
It's delicious little
This is
dressing.
it appears really simple, but the workload that goes into every single dish, that's... I mean, some of the beef, you say you marinate, you've got it in the salt chamber for a year.
Yeah.
You know, it's the work that goes into what appears to be quite simple.
It's a process, isn't it?
Well, he did say
And
that,
then
but it's
you've
just...
got it's all about the ingredient, isn't it? The restaurant is all about the ingredient for me.
What next?
And we've got some like unbelievable nori.
I love this. This is the sweetened sort of stuff.
Yeah, this is absolutely class. I'm just going to flip my board over there because I've had raw fish on it.
What makes a good nori? Because it's something that doesn't do it for me, Gareth.
It's-
Normal
this
nori,
is
it's
sweet.
just, you know.
This is sweet. It's absolutely beautiful.
The nori world is a crazy world.
That's a different...
It's a crazy world. It's
Or
not-
Carragini,
Yeah.
Carragini mossy,
different
you know.
planet,
yeah.
isn't it?
So there we go.
So that's that dish done.
So there's the first one done.
And then we got one more.
Yeah.
So I'll leave that one there.
We'll get rid of that.
Can we have a look at it?
Yeah.
just-
There you go. And then the second one.
There. And then the second one.
How did you cope with it, James, getting such a small portion?
Because I knew what was coming. Yeah. Look at it. Does he look like the guy that's going to serve small portions to you when you go out to a meal?
No, well, he can do, and he eat fish and chips.
He's
on the
not
back.
going to be honest with you. What's this? This is the teriyaki
Yes,
bit.
we've got the little barbecue fish, and we're just going to dress that with a bit of teriyaki sauce. And for me, you can't beat really beautiful fatty fish just off the barbecue with some teriyaki sauce on it. It's just a match made in heaven for me.
So that's that one.
This is just beautiful. And then
What
we've
else you
got
got in here?
some hearts out of spring onions, just to really tender bit in the centre. And we just pickle them. But they're so delicious, so tender. They're the best bit.
So is that everything?
Yep, that's it. That's
So
the two
there we
courses.
have it. So you can explain those dishes then. We have, first of all, explain which one that's in here.
So you've got the machi loin, which is just raw, served with some British wasabi, nori, and a white sesame dressing with white soy.
Yeah.
And the belly, which has been barbecued with a teriyaki sauce and some spring onion.
The legend that is Gareth Ward.
No pressure. Thank you very much.
So how would you suggest you eat this?
So get a fork in there, get all the fish and everything in one go. And
Fork
then drink
in
the
one go?
juice. Yeah.
And then drink the juice out of the bowl.
Drink the juice out of the bowl, yeah.
You ain't tasted nothing yet. Where did you taste this?
Very special.
This?
Very special.
Now taste this. This you taste just with a fork?
Yeah, same thing. Get your tongue in there, innit? Get the teriyaki sauce out.
I'm still savouring the first course.
It's just such a special product, isn't it?
It's divine. Divine.
Thank you, mate.
Absolutely divine.
What do you think, Bri?
Mind-blowing.
Gareth Ward, everybody.
Gareth.
That is a Christmas treat. That is absolutely delicious. Right, we've still got time for one more final course when I'll be rustling up some pretty epic loaded potato skins with deep-fried chicken for Shirley Ballas and all the crew. I'll see you after the break. Bye for now. That is amazing. Welcome back. Now, welcome back to the final part of the show. But I'm back in the kitchen with Gareth, Richard, and the amazing Shirley Ballas. And I'm thinking what dish to cook for Ralphie as well as everybody else. So I thought I'd do southern fried chicken.
Yes.
With and I've borrowed his version. His version of a cherry Coke barbecue sauce is epic.
Yeah.
It is. It takes a long time to make.
A long time, yeah.
A long time. We're going to do a simplified version of that. We're going to southern fried chicken and we're going to serve it with loaded potato skins using some of the ham that we made. And this is the Guinness cooked ham that I made earlier. So in here we've got some flour. I've got some range of spices over here: oregano, marjoram, a little bit of garlic salt. That's going to go in there. Mix all that together, Chief. Yeah. So I can give you that and that to take over. That's your job. You can do all that.
I'm on that.
Meanwhile, we're going to do our loaded potato skins. So I've got my potatoes over here. I've got my inside the potatoes. We're going to put some Taleggio cheese and some of this amazing ham, which I made earlier. And then I'm going to basically chop it all up, and then we're going to cook this just under the grill. But this ham, this is this Guinness glazed ham over the top, which I've got to give you a little piece of. So that's the Guinness glazed ham.
Piece.
There you go.
That's good, isn't it?
It's all right, isn't it?
A country boy with a piece of ham.
Exactly.
I mean,
it's all right, isn't it?
it's all over, Gareth, yeah? It's all over.
So Gareth's frying away there, 160 degrees with the oil like this. I'm going to take these, I'm going to fill it full of the potato skins with some of the potatoes as well. So Shirley, you're here with the book as well, but, you know, obviously Strictly takes over everybody's lives at Christmas and stuff like that. You then go from pillar to post all around the world, and then you have time to write something like this. We touched on it a bit earlier. This is a new venture for you, though. You've done autobiographies, bits and pieces. This is something slightly different.
It's completely different from me, a little bit outside my comfort zone, but when you've got as many stories as I've got to tell, it actually wasn't so difficult.
But to explain to me, we touched on it earlier, those people who are just waking up on a Saturday morning, this is based not on true stories-ish, but this is based on a story that starts off of a dance competition, and then it's sort of the story then continues. So
it's
give us a
built
little
on
insight.
sex, lies, intrigue, backstabbing, bed hopping, a little murder going on, and some ballroom dancing. It's set in the Tower Ballroom. The most beautiful Oksana Bondarenko drops dead at Jack's feet doing the tango. Who murdered Oksana Bondarenko? Hello, who murdered her? So it is, and then you have to guess, did I take part in it? Did I witness it? Or is it fiction? Because there are some saucy bits in there, you know?
Wow.
And when you read it, you have to imagine, could I have possibly taken part in it? The answer probably is yes.
I've had the privilege to take...
I think you've lived this life. I'm sitting beside you. You've lived this life.
I didn't think anybody could shock Richard Corrigan, and now we've actually found somebody. You're coming back, definitely, when he's back.
I'm telling you.
No, I didn't realise this. When obviously the Winter Gardens, how special a place it was, because I toured just a couple of months ago. Is that really the place? If you're looking at sort of ballroom and Latin, there's obviously a holy grail of somewhere that you want to go to. Is that the global place?
There is nowhere in the world like Blackpool. The Tower Ballroom you dance in from ages about 4 to 16, and then you move from 16 to the Winter Gardens. But the Tower has the best floor, the best sprung floor in the world.
Wow. Right.
It bounces up and down when you're doing the quick step. And even when you're judging on that seat, you are still bouncing.
Small lats.
It's very small lats. Oh, yes, I suppose so. Yes, but it's very bouncy.
How do you know?
I don't. I'm just wondering here. Yeah?
But is that still the place? Is that still?
Oh, it's the place everybody in the world wants to come to and perform in.
Wow.
Yeah, I go all the time.
So tell me, when was the transition for you to do the Latin as opposed to ballroom? Because, you know, the two of... I mean, I've, like I said, scratched the surface, but I do know the two are similar, but they're not similar. The two are very, very different. When was that transition for you?
I've always done 10 dances, and I was primarily a ballroom dancer up until I was about 17.
Right.
And then I got the opportunity with Sammy Stopford. I specialised in Latin with him, and then we just skyrocketed. They called us the non-stop Stopfords because we got married as well, you know.
Yeah.
The non-stop Stopfords to the very, very top of the industry, and that's when I took up Latin. But one of my biggest passions is the ballroom.
Is it? I mean, I get the feeling Latin. The scope you've got freedom to do bits and pieces, but it's regimented with ballroom. Is that the key to it?
And I think that's a little bit of an illusion because they're both very, very difficult styles. Both of them in their
Well, what I mean
right.
with Latin, you can adapt it. You could change it a little bit more.
Well, him and I could have a little shimmy shake. Is it shimmy shake? Is it a little shimmy? Oh, yeah.
I always find that flamenco. Is that Latin?
Paso doble, darling.
Yeah, I've seen a video of this 1938 Spanish flamenco dance for a woman.
Oh, okay.
And I just thought, you know, wow, the discipline of it. Just a pure, rigid discipline of that dance. It was all in the feet.
Side by side, but when we do the waltz, we have to have pure body contact.
I'm more Michael Flatley myself. Come on.
The body contact is very... You have to stay
Take him high, darling, yeah?
We have to stay connected at the hip. Now, he was good at ballroom. He was very good at ballroom when he was on Strictly.
Ballroom, you see, one of the most magical things, I think you've got to get a certain stage in Strictly to then it suddenly clicks. About halfway through, you suddenly think, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And you really, you're only just sort of, I mean, scratching the surface is not even that. But when you're doing it, you just think, this is the most amazing thing. I remember doing Strictly, and particularly ballroom, when we did it the first time, and somebody said, you've gone through 12 steps to get from one end of the room to the other. I said, when you know what you're doing and when it clicks for you, you'll do that in 4.
4 steps.
4.
Oh, you see.
And I remember getting to the quarter-final, and they took this video, and you go across in 4 steps. It's the most amazing feeling.
Because you stride.
It's just incredible,
and you move.
isn't it?
It's
But I suppose
amazing.
you're having to do that in front of not just an audience, but in front of everybody else who's dancing at the same time as well.
That's correct. And on live TV, imagine. So you see, you did very well with that and you understood the rules. You've got to shift your butt to move.
You do. Well, what people don't understand is, I think it's like anything. We've had athletes on the show as well, and it's the amount of work that you put in behind the scenes that astounds people.
It's a discipline.
Have you ever calculated how much time that goes into it for 1 minute of...
Well, my regime was always about 8 or 9 hours a day practicing, and then on top of that, I had to work. So I always think with a little bit of talent, but with great work ethic, you can actually reach great heights. You don't have to be the most talented person, but you need to be the person that's willing to put the most work in.
75 hours.
Yeah.
You find success.
In the restaurant, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
really.
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So you can explain what we got here. You've got the chicken cooking away nicely.
Yeah, got it all cooking away. Do you want this resting in the oven afterwards?
I've got my barbecue sauce, which is over here. Then we're going to take some cherry...
No, I've never heard of that.
Of this.
Cherry.
This over the top of ham, you can do as well. Meanwhile, I've got a little bit of spring onion over here as a little garnish. I'm going to use some mint and some coriander. So what's Christmas in the Shirley Ballas household like then? What's Christmas hold for you then? Are you going to go away? Or I know that your mum is, you're extremely close to your mum. You spend time at home?
Well, for many years we didn't celebrate it because obviously I lost my brother at Christmas. But over the last 4 or 5 years, we've now started to put up a tree, and we've got all our trimmings up this year, and it'll be Mum and I will set a little table together, and then we will either call in to have the food done, or my mother will cook something.
Because your mother does a lot of cooking at home as well.
She does all the cooking.
All of it?
All the washing and ironing. I love you, Mum. Thank you so much. All the washing and ironing, all the cooking.
Right.
She's right there on a Saturday night when I go in with her arms like this, like, OK, let's talk about those marks.
I love it.
She's the mother of all mothers, let me tell you.
Love it. So you got the chicken there. We're ready to put this in. So
Yeah.
Wow.
that sauce is done.
Does that look yummy?
Then
It does look yummy.
I'm going to take this. So the chicken can go on here.
Yeah.
That's bits for me and thee, those
There's me and
bits.
you, these.
But look, we'll take our chicken. Your southern fried chicken. This goes on here. This is just the starter bit. Bit of that.
Start a bit.
Shirley, you're at my house now. We don't do little portions. We do food.
Oh
And then
my.
you take this
I'd never get my Strictly frock if I lived here.
That was the problem with me, I think. Having said that, I can still get in the gear.
Can you?
Yeah,
Spandex trousers?
Not so much.
Well,
that's Latin. I can do the ballroom sort of stuff. But look, a bit of that. And then we've got over here, we've got a bit of mint, bit of coriander, sprinkle over the top. And then I've got some spring onions over the top of there as well. And then we're going to then take out of our oven our loaded potato skins, which have been in the oven. That's got the ham, it's got the potatoes, it's got the spring onion, a bit of that over the top. And then we take this. There you have your loaded potato skins.
Oh, yeah.
To go with it.
How many calories?
Bon appetit and happy Christmas from me and thee.
Nice.
There we go. Done. Right, Gareth, that's for me and thee.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll have a. Shall we share one of these, or shall we pass these over to there? You're going to get the whole thing, guys. So
really?
You're just going to get a whole thing.
Oh my goodness.
You start at one end and work your way through it. But have a little bit of the chicken, a little bit of that.
Oh, we've got potato
Gareth,
going on
there's a
here.
spoon.
Yeah.
I'll chop it all up there. There you go.
Oh my goodness, this is just
Chicken.
fine.
It's good, that, like. Doing all right there.
It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's absolutely phenomenally delicious.
It's good, isn't it?
Very good.
Happy with the skins?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Take them back to Wales.
Yeah, I'm having that.
I'm happy now.
I go in the car.
I'm not going to argue with them either. That's it. That's all we've got time for today. Massive thank you to all my guests, Andrea and Chris on the Isle of Man, Brian Turner, Gareth Ward, Richard Corrie, and of course Shirley Ballas. Best of luck with the book as well. We'll see you back here on Christmas Day at the later time of 12 p.m. We'll be celebrating the big day with more top chefs, more delicious recipes, more incredible cocktails, more brilliant guests, and maybe a bit of rock and roll to mix as well. Until then, take care. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Like that.